Good day! For today's video, we're going to discuss Quarter 1, Module 1, Physical Education, Lesson 3, Development of Strength Training, Heart Rate and Rate of Perceived Exertion. Objectives: 1. Define heart rate. 2. Understand the rate of perceived exertion. 3. Give the formula of heart rate and rate of perceived exertion. 4. Practice the formula of heart rate and rate of perceived exertion. And last, appreciate the importance of having a normal heart rate and rate of perceived exertion. What is heart rate? The heart rate is an indicator of the level of participation in physical activity. The intensity of activity is measured by the percentage of maximum heart rate during exercise, which literally means the maximum number of times the heart contracts in 1 minute. Maximum heart rate. It is an easy formula to determine your maximum heart rate based on your age. Maximum heart rate formula is equals 220 minus your age. Note, this only gives an estimate as the maximum heart rate actually varies for different people. The aging factor affects this formula, and max heart rate decreases as one gets older. Maximal stress test. A more accurate measure of heart rate is known as maximal stress test. This test makes use of treadmill or exercise bike. Another accurate way to measure the heart rate is through a heart rate monitor that uses either watch or chest strap attached with a device that measures one heart rate and calculate its percentage against your max heart rate. Rate of perceived exertion. The rate of perceived exertion is a way to measure the level of exertion a person feels during physical activity. RPE is a useful tool that helps people manage the intensity of their physical exercise. When reporting RPE, individuals usually use the Borg rating of perceived exertion scale. The scale ranges from 6 to 20, allowing people to give a number rating on how they are feeling. A person can determine their level by reflecting on how fast their heart is beating, how hard they are breathing, and more. This table exhibits the comparison of common 1 to 10 scale to the traditional Borg scale. Number 10 is equivalent to 20 in Borg scale. It means all-out sprint. Number 9 is equivalent to 19 in Borg scale, which means very hard intensity. Number 8 is equivalent to 18 in Borg scale, which means hard intensity. Number 7 is equivalent to 17 in Borg scale, which means vigorous activity. Number 6 is equivalent to 16 in Borg scale, which means hard activity. Number 5 is equivalent to 14 to 15 Borg scale, which means progressive pace. Number 4 is equivalent to 13 in Borg scale, which means comfortable with some effort. Number 3 is equivalent to 11 to 12 Borg scale, which means comfortable pace. Number 2 is equivalent to 10 in Borg scale, which means light and easy. Number 1 is equivalent to 6 to 9 Borg scale, which means minimum effort. Borg rating of perceived exertion scale. The Borg scale was the creation of Swedish scientist Gunnar Borg in 1960s. He was interested in defining how a person's perceived or felt exertion related to their body's physical response. The 15-point scale ranges from 6 to 20, with 6 representing no exertion. and 20 indicating maximum exertion. Each point on the scale correlates to how much exertion a person feels. Perceived exertion derives from the physical markers an individual may experience. These include increased heart rate, increased breathing rate, increased sweating, muscle fatigue. How to report RPE? When exercising, a person should aim for a rating between 12 and 16, which refers to the moderate activity level. If an individual is rating at 19 or higher, they need to reduce the intensity of their workout to avoid potential injury or overexertion. The table below summarizes ratings from the Borg rating of perceived exertion scale. Rating: how the exertion feels. 6 is equivalent to no exertion at all, doing nothing, or resting. 7.5 is equivalent to extremely light exertion, slightly increased heart rate. 9 is equivalent to very light exertion, a gentle walk. 11 is equivalent to light exertion, a person has more than enough energy to continue exercising. 13 is slightly hard exertion. Exercising is getting more difficult but is still manageable. 15. Hard exertion, continuing the activity, is noticeably more difficult. 17. Very hard exertion. A person can maintain this level of physical activity if they push themselves. They are very tired. 20. Maximal exertion, complete exhaustion. The modified RPE scale. In addition to feeling physical tiredness, increased heart rate, and an increased breathing rate when exercising, a person may also feel pain. There is a modified RPE scale called the Borg Category Ratio Scale that accounts for this. The CR10 is similar to the original scale but also considers a person's perceived level of pain. This scale ranges from 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest score and 10 the highest. RPE, approximate level of exertion. 1 is equivalent to 10% no exertion. 2. 20% very weak. 3. 30% very weak. 4. 40% weak. 5. 50% moderate. 6. 60% somewhat strong. 7. 70% strong. 8. 80% very strong. 9. 90% very strong. 10. 100% maximal exertion. Understanding RPE. For example, if the student gives a number of 5, it garners an exertion level of 5, which means that he or she would more or less be at his or her 50% personal maximum heart rate. This value can then be compared to the prediction equation, which is based on the student's age. A simple way of determining the maximum heart rate is through this formula. 220 minus age, for example, 20 years old, is equals 200 maximum heart rate of the student. RPE is equals 5, exertion is equals 5 or approximately 50% heart rate. Therefore, at the rate the student is exercising, the heart rate should be 100 beats per minute. For further understanding of our lesson, let's have activity number 1. Try this one. Compute for the maximum heart rate of a 24-year-old athlete whose RPE is 8. Show your step-by-step computation in your activity notebook. Guide 1. Get the maximum heart rate of the athlete. 2. Determine the RPE of the athlete and approximately level of exertion in percent. 3. Get the product of maximum heart rate and the decimal value of level of exertion to get the final answer. Let's try activity number 2. What I have learned. Directions. Prepare a simple fitness program by simply selecting the set of exercises that you want. In your workout or strengthening activity, use the alternative exercises that you have chosen in the previous activity or lesson. Exercise is categorized into 3: warm-up, workout or strengthening exercise, and cool down or stretching. I hope you learned a lot from our lesson for today. Thank you for listening.